Hello and welcome back to ECS Coffee. This is the showdown between the new Delonghi Le Specialista Opera and the Breville Barista Express Impress. So Delonghi has just released the new Le Specialista Opera, and it is quite similar to the Breville Barista Express Impress. So we're gonna take a look at some of their differences and similarities and maybe try to see which machine is best for you at home if you're looking. So let's start with some of their similarities. They are both semi-automatic espresso machines. They are both stainless steel, though the Barista Express Impress does come in a few other colors that are part of Breville's Luxe collection. Both of the machines will have onboard grinders, and they both have the assisted tamping handles. So Breville has the Impress puck system, and Delonghi has their smart tamping station. Both machines will have a professional style steam wand that can produce really nice microfoam. It just takes a little bit of practice and know-how. Both machines have a dial on the front, and they also have separate hot water spouts for your Americano or for just some tea if you need some hot water. Both machines will be able to produce a single or double espresso, and they also come with all of the accessories needed to kind of get you going. Now, let's go through some of the differences. And we're going to start over at the Delonghi Le Specialista Opera. So on the Delonghi Le Specialista Opera, you have a 51mm portafilter. You have the smart tamping handle on the side with the dose function on the front. Now, the Delonghi does not offer a smart dosing function, so you will need to make the adjustments as you are going through and as the espresso is pouring. So on the Delonghi Le Specialista Opera, we have our single shot, double shot, which you will press when you're deciding which one you're dosing out for. So if you're grinding for a double shot, you will click ×2. If you're grinding for a single, you'll press ×1. You have your pressure gauge here, which will indicate how the espresso is pouring. So the more the needle rises, the higher the pressure is. Your OK button is what you're going to press to brew your beverage based on your single or double. You have temperature control right there, nice and handy. No need to enter into a secondary menu to adjust the temperature. Hot water button for your separate hot water spout. And then on the Le Specialista Opera, we do have our program beverages. So we have cool espresso, or espresso cool rather, cold brew, espresso, Americano, and coffee. Coffee's just going to pour extra long through the espresso. On the side of the Le Specialista Opera, you have a knob to activate the steam wand. One of the upgrades that Delonghi did to the Le Specialista Opera was put in some more grind sizes. So the Le Specialista Opera has 15 grind sizes in comparison to its usual 8, which is what Delonghi would normally offer on its semi-automatic espresso machines. We also have a nice little drop-down tray with a magnet too, so it's a little stuck. There we go. Drop-down tray for your smaller mugs if you're brewing for just espresso. On to the Breville Express Impress. So on the Barista Express Impress from Breville, we have our grinder up top, which has 25 grind settings. So we have 10 more than we had on the Le Specialista Opera. That means we're able to dial in the espresso just a little bit more. Tamping handle here. On the Breville, we have a 54mm portafilter, so slightly larger than the Delonghi. On the front, you're going to have your dosing function. Now, the Express Impress does have smart dosing functions. So if your espresso is dosed too high or too low, the machine will know, and it will correct it for the next grinding. So if you had too much when you ground the first time, when you pull your next shot, the machine will adjust and recalibrate itself. You can turn the smart dosing function off if you wanted to manually dose out your espresso. You have your pressure gauge on the front, and then you have your single, double, and then power button on the side. On the right-hand side of the Express Impress, you will have your knob for either activating the steam wand or activating the separate hot water spout, which can be found just at the front corner of the machine. Both machines have a 2-liter water tank, and they're both located on the back. The Delonghi Le Specialista Opera has around a 200-gram bean hopper, whereas the Breville Express and Press has around a 220-gram bean hopper, so just a little bit larger. We're going to brew some beverages on both of these machines and do a bit of a comparison. The Breville does not offer us the cold beverages, and we don't have any beverages that are programmed. So we're just going to utilize the espresso and the steam wand to do a comparison there between how it's extracting the flavor of the espresso and then also how the steam wand functions and how easy it is to get that nice microfoam. So let's get brewing. Okay, so we're going to brew our espresso. So first we need to grind our coffee. So I'm going to grind on the Express and Press first. I'm just going to click my grind button here, or dose button, grind button, dose button. So on the Express and Press, just for reference, we are using the Colombian espresso, just like we are on the Le Specialista Opera. And on the Express and Press, we are on grind size 16 out of 25. So I'm going to press my handle down till I feel a click. And it's going to note on the front if my dose level is correct. I got the green line with the little smiley face beside it, so that means I have a well-dosed espresso. I'm just going to give it a secondary tamp so that it can press down the excess grinds that are sometimes on top. And I'm going to remove the portafilter. There we go. Okay, so this has a really beautifully tamped espresso. A 54mm portafilter does give you distribution better throughout the portafilter, so there's not as much going through vertically. There's not as much grinds for the water to move through. So now I'm just going to place this up into my group head. Okay, so now I'm going to grind on the Le Specialista Opera, again using Colombian espresso, and I'm going to click ×2 since we're doing the double shot. So for reference, we are on grind size, I believe 5 or 6 out of 15. The grinding was a bit louder on the Delonghi as well. The Breville was a little quieter. That usually does have something to do with the sharpness of the burrs and how fast they are moving. Being that the Breville has more grind sizes, that does make sense. I'm going to press my handle down on the Delonghi now, all the way. Now, it's not going to tell me whether or not my dose is correct, so I have to, if it's not correct, then I have to know how to adjust it. Okay. There we go. So there's a few more grinds left on the Delonghi than there were on the Breville, but that's not going to make or break our brewing. So I'm going to place my portafilter up into the group head now and turn it over. I do find that it's a little easier to insert the portafilter into the Delonghi than it is to the Breville, especially brand new right out of the box. The gasket's just a little looser. The Brevilles tend to be a little tighter. Okay, so now we're going to brew our espresso. So I'm going to throw my mug underneath the Breville and we're going to brew our double shot on the Express and Press first. Okay. So I want to hear how loud each machine is. It was louder for grinding on the Le Specialista, but let's look at how loud the brewing process is. So I'm going to go ahead and press my double shot on the Express and Press. So it's a little loud. You can hear the vibratory pump. I'll also note that the Delonghi does have an extra year of warranty. So you have that 2+1 year warranty from Delonghi. And on the Breville, you have a 2-year warranty through Breville. Okay, so our espresso shot is complete. It does look quite nice. Okay, so now we're going to brew on the Delonghi. So I've got my other mug here. I'm going to place it underneath the portafilter and click my OK. But first I have to switch it back to espresso because I am on espresso cool. So let me turn my dial here. There we go. And now you'll see that the OK button has even illuminated into white as opposed to it being blue, which indicated as a cool beverage. So now I'm going to click OK, and we're going to hear how quiet or loud the L'Especialista Opera is. It's quieter than the Breville for sure. You can't hear the pump as much. So the machines are similar in size, but the L'Especialista is slightly larger and taller. So I'll just note the height here on the Opera is just over 17 inches, whereas on the Breville it's just over 16. Sometimes that extra inch can really make a difference as to whether or not it's going to fit underneath your cabinets in your upper cabinets in your kitchen. So just a note there when you're looking at which machine to possibly take home for yourself. There is an extra inch in height on the Opera. Okay, so let's have a look at our espresso shots. Smells nice. Smells nice. So, okay, good. Smells like espresso. So I'm gonna steam some milk now. We're gonna just do some latte or cappuccino to see how the milk wands froth in comparison to each other. I have frothed on both of these wands now, so I kind of know what to expect, but I'm excited to do a direct comparison between each one. All right, so I'm gonna set my mugs in front here, and I'm going to steam on the Breville Barista Express Impress first. So I always like to let out a little bit of steam out of my wand ahead of time. And the Barista Express Impress does not have an insulated steaming wand. All right, so we're ready to roll. The wand is more articulated though, which does make it a little easier to froth your milk. But since it's not insulated, the milk can kind of burn onto the wand, which makes for a more difficult cleanup. I also am noticing it's not quite as powerful it feels. It feels like, I may be wrong. Just get a nice spiral going here. Yep. Okay. It's warming up. A little warmer. Okay, and that is it. Okay. So on both machines, you can't brew and steam at the same time. You have to do each one separately. I like to brew my espresso before I steam my milk most of the time, but you do you. Okay, so time to pour. And there we go. Pretty good. So you probably heard while I was steaming milk, I made a few larger bubbles. I was able to correct it slightly, but it's not a perfect microfoam, but it still is gonna taste yummy. It's quite good. It's good, yeah. I mean, it's steamed milk and espresso, so you can't really go wrong. However, it is a little bit more work to get really good microfoam off of the Barista Express Impress. And I am going to wipe down the steam wand now. So what I have to do is get some hot water onto my rag using the hot water spout, and then use that to wipe down the steaming wand. So to activate the hot water spout, I am just going to turn the knob on the right-hand side towards me. Oh, I'm turning the knob backwards. I need to turn it, I turned the knob forwards. I need to turn it backwards. There we go. There we go. Okay, so the hot water just spurted out a little bit because I had activated the steam wand first, so the pressure was quite high in the machine. If you're just pouring hot water for Americano or for tea or anything like that, like normal, if it is after you use the steam wand, then it can spray around like that. If it's just after you're brewing your espresso, then it will pour in a very straight stream. There won't be any spurting. All right, so now I'm going to steam on the Opera, which does have an insulated steam wand. Okay, so I do like that. It makes the frothing experience a lot easier, and it makes the cleanup a lot easier as well. So letting out a little bit of water first and steam just to get the steam wand heated and ready to go. So the Delonghi steam wand is a lot longer than the Breville, but it's not as articulated. Okay, so steam wand is in, turning the dial forwards. All right. I do really like using this steam wand. Even though it's not articulated, it's really powerful. It's easy to get a really good spiral going. Yeah, I do like it. It's very, very fast to heat up as well. Like this jug is already really, really warm. So if you are newer to steaming milk, this one is more powerful than most semi-automatics that are in this caliber. So just be aware that it's going to take practice. Okay, so to make sure you can actually see my pour and our cameraman doesn't get mad at me, I'm going to pour it a little bit in front here. So first, okay, like look at this milk. Whew. It's wet paint. It's so, the wand made it so easy to get good microfoam. This is a very awkward position to try to do any kind of latte art. There we go. Ah ha ha ha. I like that wand. I really do. Okay. Cheers. Okay, so this is a much better latte because the milk was this is so creamy. The milk was so much better on this one. You're able to get that same milk on the Express Impress, but it is easier on the L'Especialista Opera. Yeah, okay, very cool. So, let me wipe down my Opera first with my my rag. Even though it is an insulated steam wand, still do need to wipe it down. There we go. Okay, I love Breville machines. I love the Impress puck system that is on the Express Impress. But I really love what they've added into the L'Especialista Opera. It gives it just a little bit more. It's honestly the steam wand. The steam wand being insulated and being as powerful as it is, I really enjoy that. I'm not a massive latte drinker, but I do enjoy trying to do latte art, and it's easier to do with the L'Especialista Opera. So just keeping that in mind. If you are a cold coffee drinker, an iced coffee drinker, a cold brew person, the Opera is 1000% for you because it has it built in right there. If you want to really dial in your espresso and you want to get a really good espresso shot, like if you're a black coffee drinker like myself, then the Express Impress is probably a better option for you than the Opera because you just have more grind sizes. You're able to dial in the espresso a little bit better. 25 grind sizes compared to the Opera's 15. 15 is still good, so you're still solid there. However, more grind sizes means more ability to dial in. On the L'Especialista Opera, if you're like a milk person wanting to do latte art, or like I mentioned, the cold brew, then this machine would be for you. Very, very impressed with the upgrades that they've done on the L'Especialista Opera. And I'm just always loving the Breville machines, but the steam wand, I keep thinking, like, I love being able to grab a steam wand. It's safe, and it makes your steaming and your cleanup just so much easier. So we've only steamed on the Express Impress once today, and I'm gonna have to go and like kind of get off that caked on milk that's there. It happens when you don't have an insulated wand. Okay, so which machine is for you? Oh, and the price is relatively similar. Regular price for the Opera is around 1,200 Canadian. Regular price for the Express Impress is around 1,300 Canadian. So you're paying $100 more for extra grind sizes and the smart function. So it takes that dosing aspect away from you, so it's one less variable that you have to worry about. On the Opera, you will have to worry about if your dose is right, along with if the grind size is right. On both machines, you don't have to worry about tamping because they both have the tamping handle, which is fantastic. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions about either of these machines, just leave them down below in the comment section. And if you liked this video, give us 2 thumbs up. No, 1 thumb up, because if you do it twice, then it unlikes it. Give us a thumbs up. Remember to subscribe to our channel. If you're watching this video, you obviously like coffee content, so hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with us. And we'll see you next time, guys. Cheers.